What's up, everyone? Shoebooty Sports coming at you Tuesday night. I guess it is technically night. We're earlier than usual. Job change for me, as in, and schedule change in the process. So we're going to be coming at you earlier from now on, at least for the foreseeable future. I'm your host, Grandpa, on this screen. That's Bradley Brown on the other, making interesting faces. Say, what's up, Brad?
What's going on? I heard a peaking noise coming from around the corner. I was just checking out my dog.
Okay. Well, all is well, I assume, since you're still here with us.
It's on the hardwood, so I don't care.
Okay, I was say, well, maybe. All right. Before we get started, let's give a quick shout out to our sponsor. Shoebooty Sports is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers 5 different races: a 5K, 10K, half marathon, a marathon, and the one of a kind Rhino Ultra. You can sign up for one or all 5 of their races at rhinoraces.com. Run your race at your convenience, track it with your fitness app of choice. Screenshot your results as proof of completion. Submit your screenshot to rhinoraces.com under the submit results section. Once your results are verified by Rhino Races staff, your award will be shipped to you by mail. Also, check out their gear section while you're there for t-shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. That's rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series, and you can find us, Shoebooty Sports, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on X at Shoebooty Sports. Okay, what I was looking at on my phone. The number one recruit in the country, I assume college football, made his verbal commitment today. Maybe I assume verbal. I don't know if he signed anything, but I didn't see the guy's name. But he chose BYU,
Yeah.
which was a little. I don't know. I guess it's surprising. The number one guy in the country. I don't know. But BYU is. I mean, they've had good years, so not knocking them by any means. But they don't usually get the number one recruit in the country.
Apparently, it's a record-setting NIL deal.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yes.
Well, good for him and BYU, I suppose. I'm sure that there's some money there at Brigham Young University. I mean, good for them, I guess. I didn't
Yeah.
even see, I know BYU had a very good start to the year. I didn't see how they finished. What are they? A nine win team or so?
10-win team.
Okay, shout out Cougars on that. Um, so yeah, congrats to BYU and the number one recruit in the country. I saw his name briefly, but I can't tell you how to pronounce it, so I won't even try. But all right, moving on. Let's talk about our Razorbacks for a second. Arkansas is going to the Liberty Bowl. Shocker. Going to the Liberty Bowl, playing Texas Tech. When? What's the date of that game? Do you know off the top of your head? I just saw that who
I
they're
think it's
playing.
like the 27th.
Sounds about right. That's about usually when it is. It seems like it's always between like the 27th and 29th.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Hogs playing Texas Tech. Uh, who knows what kind of team you'll get? A lot of players, and like 21 players or so, I think last I heard were in the transfer portal for Arkansas. So I don't know what type.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of. It's the most of any team in the SEC. So I don't know what kind of team you're going to be fielding for that. But Texas Tech will have players enter the declare for the draft and sit out the bowl game. Opt out is the new term. And I'm sure they have some players in the portal as well. Probably not 21 though. That's a lot. Yes, but you never know what can happen in a bowl game, especially in today's day of in college football. I'm more so like bowl season is not, you know, what it used to be. I mean, when we were
No.
in junior high, high school, bowl season was a big deal. We especially when we were that age because we had that Christmas break. That's kind of when it starts. I mean, some of the bowl games will will start very soon. But that's my memory of bowl season was getting out of school for those 2 weeks, and really you had a game like on every night, a
Yeah.
different game every night, and a lot of them were good games, like really good games, because everybody played. Everybody that was on the team played. It was a big deal to play in the last game of the season for whatever school you were a part of, and it gave teams a chance, even 6, 7 win teams, to end the season on a high note, leave with a trophy, leave with some pride, and it was a big deal, and it led to some very competitive and interesting games and matchups that you didn't see normally. So it was always fun. It's not that anymore. What
Yeah.
we're morphing into is bowl season is becoming irrelevant, and it's all about the expanding college football playoff.
Yeah.
And when when the bowl games become less important, I guess a college football playoff expansion can give you something to be excited about. I was fine with it just being 4 teams. I was fine with just the way the BCS did it. Just get the number 1 and 2 teams, and I mean, they got it right most of the time.
Most
So
of the time. Yeah.
I didn't have a problem with the way they did it. But then they expanded to 4 teams, and they had that very first college football playoff, and Ohio State ended up winning it. And they were all really good games. They were really good games. I was like, okay, I'm liking this. And then I see the way that the expansion of 12 is looking in the bracket. And I'm like, man, those are some really interesting matchups. At one point, it was
Yeah.
SMU Notre Dame. Um, we'll talk about SMU in a minute, but we'll get to that. Or just what we think of the college football playoff. We'll talk about that as well. But yeah, this is the direction we're headed. Bowl season is, I don't want to say dead, but close. It's uh it's just not important anymore. It's irrelevant, I guess is the best way to put it. And
Yeah.
it's all about the college football playoff now. That's what it's about. Unless you get into that, you're going to have a lot of teams opt out. I doubt it. Like when if Nick Saban were the coach, I think all the Alabama, well, one, they would be in the playoff.
Yes.
Two, you wouldn't have players sit out. I don't think that'll be the case in the Kalen DeBoer era at Alabama. I don't know. Maybe it will be. We'll find out. But I don't think he's going to have the same pull as. There's no thing. He's not going to have the same pull as Nick Saban. Uh, but let's go to the college football playoff. Alabama was, the at the time the only 3-win team that was considered to be in, and Clemson shook things up, beating SMU in what ended up being a very competitive game, a very interesting game to watch.
Oh,
I watched the okay. I ran the Three Bridges Marathon Saturday morning, and I was there till like one. I didn't get home till 1:30, about 1:30 p.m. I got in the shower. I took a long shower, got out, uh, made some coffee, had a couple cups of coffee, and then I left and I remember I went to Hobby Lobby. I got something I had to, for this new job, I had to show proof of like graduation, like from either high school or my college degree. And I said, I'll just get both of them in case because I didn't need it. I just needed the high school one for my current gig. But
yeah.
if I ever apply for a position within the company that requires a degree, I said, let's just go ahead and have that on file.
Yeah.
So during that, I said, you know what? I've never actually hung this degree. Maybe I should go get like a frame and actually hang it up. I only spent 5 years trying to get it, so I might as well hang the thing up. So I went to Hobby Lobby and got a cheap frame that looks really nice actually, and hung it up. But after that, I went to Wright's Barbecue uh, with uh, with my friend Michelle to celebrate, my Three Bridges Marathon and completion of the 2024 Arkansas Grand Prix Series as an Iron Runner. So quick shout out to me there. But that was my long-winded way of saying I watched the first portion of the Clemson SMU game. Of course, Wright's Barbecue has just massive TVs the size of a wall, and so I got to watch the first part of that game. And Clemson was kind of running away with it. And then by the time I went to the state capitol and looked at the Christmas lights and went inside and all that after, because it was their Christmas lighting ceremony. And then by the time I got home, it got interesting. SMU, now they were down at the start of the fourth quarter, and Rhett Lashley was even saying, Arkansas native Rhett Lashley, it's not looking good, but we're going to keep plugging and fighting. And that's what they did. They ended up tying the game. But and Clemson marched down the field on the last drive. Freshman kicked a 56-yard field goal to win it, and Clemson is your ACC champions again. I think they've won 8 of the last 10, I believe it was. So another big win for Dabo and Clemson, and Clemson's in. Clemson's in the college football playoff. And a lot of people and the commentators are saying, like during the game, even Greg McElroy, Alabama alum, was saying that's a playoff team. They should still be in the playoff. And basically saying Alabama doesn't deserve to be in. And then the college football playoff comes out officially. SMU is in, Alabama's out. Did the committee get it right?
Yes. Yes, they did.
I 1000% agree. I don't see how you could watch that SMU team and say that that's not a playoff team. They're absolutely a playoff team. 1, 2. If you're going to, I mean, McElroy said it. If you're going to say publicly, I mean, we're not going to punish teams for playing in conference championship games. Like you are you're making playing in conference championship games less desirable for teams if you're going to punish them for losing one. And I mean, because you're playing the second best team in the conference. I mean, there's a chance you're going to lose. Excuse me. Georgia, Texas. I mean, that was a very competitive game. I mean, conference championship week is very competitive, as it should be. But yeah, the committee got it right. SMU deserved to be in. They got in. So Alabama out. 100% got it right. Alabama fans aren't going to like that, but so what? Don't lose 3 games and don't lose to Vandy. Don't get the brakes beat off. What were their other losses?
Vandy, Texas.
Tennessee.
Oh, Vandy, Tennessee, and I don't know.
No, it was one that they absolutely shouldn't have lost. I remember that.
Yeah.
Looking it up now.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
Okay. As my cat's making noise outside, really wants in. It's 40-minute show, Brad.
Hey, I'm trying, man. I'm trying. So they lost to Oklahoma.
A 6-6 Oklahoma.
Yeah, I don't know how we forgot about that one, being that it only happened, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, what an awful loss.
Yeah, you lose to Vandy, you lose to Oklahoma. Tennessee's not a bad loss, but those are 2 bad losses.
I don't know. Tennessee lost to Arkansas. I mean,
yeah, but how many other games did they lose?
yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's Alabama did not deserve to get in. Now they may beat the brakes off of whoever they play in the bowl game. They'll come up with a reason to be motivated.
Michigan.
That's who they have in the bowl game.
I believe that's who I just seen on their sketch. Yep, Michigan.
Okay, that might actually be a good game. I mean, Michigan coming off of a big win against Ohio State. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe they'll take down another powerhouse program. I don't know. We'll see. Be interesting to watch. Um, that's a good matchup. I like that. But
Yep.
let's jump to that. Let's jump to the SEC championship game. I mean, Georgia to Texas. I'd say it didn't disappoint. It was very competitive. It wasn't fun to watch. It wasn't entertaining from an offensive perspective. That was the other game I watched. I watched the end of that at Wright's Barbecue because it was Saturday night, and of course there's a massive line at any Wright's Barbecue, as there should be. Great freaking barbecue. Um, but yeah, it was. I got to catch the end of that, and then the first portion of the ACC championship game. But you and I both picked Texas. I wasn't surprised though. I wasn't super confident in that, especially considering Georgia beat them earlier in the season. I had,
Yeah. I mean, Georgia beat them earlier in the season, and oh, did I mute you? I'm having
no,
technical difficulties here. No, I didn't mute you.
no. I started to say
Oh,
something that I did. All right.
I got you. But yeah, they beat them earlier in the season, and the SEC championship, as we all know, is held in Atlanta, Georgia. So it's basically a giant home game for the Bulldogs. But I still thought Texas was going to pull it off. But I like the fact that they didn't win the SEC in their first year in the conference, though. I really do like that.
Yeah, same. I really didn't have a dog in the fight, no pun intended. I even though just being an Arkansas and Arkansas alum, you're bred to hate Texas
Yeah.
or the Longhorns anyway. And yeah, but I didn't really care. I didn't care who won one way or the other. Um, I don't know. I wanted to see a good game, I guess, and it was a good game. It wasn't very entertaining unless you love defense, but Georgia got it done. Let's run through the college football playoff and let's make our picks. Let's go ahead and do that now. Why not?
All right. Let's do it.
You have it pulled up because I don't.
Yeah, I do. All right.
We're
We'll get
still
started off.
go.
What? All right. We got started off 12 seed Clemson versus Texas. Number 5 seed at Texas. Um, I don't know. I think I want to say that Clemson is going to get smoked in this game, but I know it's probably going to be closer than I think. I think the line is, I don't know, -7.5 Texas last time I seen it, or maybe I'm just making it up, but I don't know. I can see Texas at least 2 possession win. So I'm going to say 10-point win on that one. Uh, I'm guessing you agree with the Texas pick.
Well, I'm trying to just find the bracket itself, and it's not showing it. This always happens.
Oh yeah, they make the bracket impossible to find.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Um, I'm going to say Texas. I think Texas is the better team,
Yeah.
especially that defense. I did not realize how good Texas defense is until watching them play Georgia and Cade Klubnik, who played really well against SMU Saturday, was the ACC championship game MVP, threw 4 touchdown passes. He was up there with like Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson in categories in that game. So um, I think as multiple MVPs of the ACC championship game. Uh, that's some stellar company to be in. But yeah, it's he's not going to have the same success against Texas's defense. Yeah, I'm going with Texas on that one. Who we got next?
Next up is Tennessee at Ohio State, which, yeah, I can't wait to watch that one. I think that'll be a pretty fun game. Um,
I like the matchup. I do love the matchup.
I mean, it is 8 versus 9 seed. Uh, man, I don't know.
Okay.
If Ohio State comes out and plays like they did against Michigan, I think Tennessee would easily take it. But this is at Ohio State. I don't know. I kind of want to pick Ohio State in that one in a really close one, like a field goal game.
I'm gonna say. I mean, on paper, Ohio State should win it. I mean, they have the most expensive
They should.
They have the most expensive roster in all of college football. Finally found it. Gosh, that was way too difficult to get, by the way. These are the buys, by the way. Oregon, the number one overall seed, getting a bye. Georgia getting number two seed in a bye. Boise State, the three seed in a bye. And Arizona State, your Big 12 champions, the four seed in a bye.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to go Tennessee. I don't know. I can't. I don't know why. I just think that Ryan Day, like in the playoffs, just says it's been a choke job.
Yep.
And I like Josh. Is it Hupel? How do you say his last name?
Heupel.
I like him better than I like Ryan Day. I think Tennessee is going to be really up for this game, even though they lost to Arkansas, which makes me say, yeah, how can you pick anybody that lost to the Razorbacks this year? I don't know. I got a feeling about Tennessee in this one. I'm gonna go Vols over Ohio State.
I like it. I just have that gut feeling about Ohio State. So
Okay, and I got that about Tennessee. I can't really explain it other than the Ryan Day teams haven't been as successful in the postseason. But I'm gonna go
yeah,
Tennessee. Okay, up next, SMU Penn State. Interesting matchup. Penn
very
State,
interesting matchup.
yeah. Uh, Penn State lost a close one. Was it to Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game or whatever they're calling the conference now with 20 teams?
Now they lost to Oregon.
That's right, Oregon. Yeah, Oregon's the Big Ten champions. Okay, that
Yeah. But they
make
also lost to Ohio State earlier in the year by possession by 7 points. So
okay. Well, Penn State, SMU. Who you got in that?
man, I would just love it if SMU could pull it off.
Real
Man, after watching them this past weekend and them staying so close with Oregon, I probably just gonna roll with Penn State on this one. I
I'm
really
also
want to
gonna.
pick SMU,
You
but
want to, but that's thinking with your heart and not your head. If you're thinking with your head, I think you got to go with Penn State, and that's who I'm going to go with there. Penn State over SMU. Okay, moving on. This is the most intriguing matchup. I don't know. SMU Penn State's pretty good. I think 1B as far as intriguing matchups. Notre Dame and Indiana.
yeah.
Penn State, Indiana. Everybody had Indiana in before the season, right?
Oh yeah.
Notre Dame, Indiana. Who you got?
I think I'm gonna roll with Indiana. So, just because I do not like Notre Dame, but that Notre Dame's looked very iffy at points this season. Indiana's just looked really good. Yeah, just except for that game versus Ohio State, they had a couple of turnovers that really cost them at bad times. Um, but I still like Indiana.
Okay, I'm gonna go Notre Dame. I don't think Indiana's ready for this. We saw granted it was against Ohio State, but we saw what they did like when the lights were on them. It almost reminds you of Arkansas to an extent when Arkansas wins games and they're saying nobody's paying attention to us, and then as soon as somebody pays attention to them, they lose.
Stop
I
looking at me. So,
I don't think this Indiana team is that, but I think this Notre Dame team is good enough that I don't know they're going to give them problems. I'll go Notre Dame with that in that one. Notre Dame over Indiana. That's on December 20th. So we're 10 days away from
wow.
the college football playoff, which is exciting. It's the first game. The other three are on December 21st. So interesting that that's the first one on that must be a Friday or something. I don't know. Um, yeah, December 20th, 7 p.m. ABC, ESPN.
Yeah, that is a Friday.
Okay. All right. Um, that'll
I don't
be
know.
our.
After
Go
after
ahead.
looking at after looking at Indiana's, oh, that wasn't even Indiana's schedule. Never mind.
Are you
Cut
about to
this
flip
from the
your
tape.
pick?
Don't worry. Oh yeah, I thought I was about to flip a pick, but I'm just gonna stick with it.
All right. Well, that's all we'll do for now. We'll just see how it shakes up, and then check back and make future predictions from there. Um, won't make a pick, but who would be your favorite to come out of there winning the whole thing?
Ooh. Uh, I don't
Let
like
me
Georgia. Don't like Georgia. Don't like Arizona State. Ah, man, Oregon or Boise State would be my two picks.
oh, okay. That was going to be my main question. Do we believe in Oregon? Oh, okay. Let me better. This is the better question. Oregon or the field? Who's your money on?
The field.
I feel the same way.
You put it that way, the field. As much jumping around as that top 4 or 5 positions is done over the season in the rankings. Um, yeah, I would take the field.
Here's what I like. I think Texas is in the best position. Like if I were betting money, I would probably, if it was just a pot or something, I would probably put my money on Texas. I just
Yep.
like where they're at in the playoff. I like the position that they have. Uh, yeah, they're capable of beating anyone in there. Um, I like Oregon. I just don't know that I believe in them to win a national championship and finish the year undefeated. I don't in this era of college football. I don't know that I buy that. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but that would be where my money was put on Texas right now.
It's pretty
Okay,
pretty good bet. So
I think so. All right, well let's okay quickly. Razorback basketball is tonight, the Jimmy V Classic, I believe, 8 p.m. game against Michigan. I don't know how much of that I'm going to get to watch. Maybe the first half because I have to go to bed early now for my new gig. 4 a.m. comes very quickly, so I'll have to. I won't get to watch the whole thing. Uh, what would you grade Razorback basketball at this point in the season if you were giving them a grade?
like a B.
Really?
There's
Okay.
nothing's really. I don't know. I've only watched a game and a half, but it seems like from that game and a half, and just from the scores that I've seen, we're not really winning big. Our shooting tends to be off for, I don't know, the first half of the game. We get off to those slow starts. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know that much about it to give a grade, but I'd say me not, I don't know, not paying any attention to them, not really hearing a bunch of commotion about them. A B.
I'll go a solid C. I was going to go between that and C plus. I mean, you've only lost 2 games, and I mean, you lost to Baylor. That's nothing to hang your head about. But you lost to an Illinois team that it isn't. I don't know. That fundamentally, in Illinois looked way more impressive than Arkansas did, and that's where I'm deciding that grade. On paper, Arkansas is the more talented team. Illinois was the better basketball team and it wasn't even close. Arkansas is Adu Thero and Boogie Fland. Uh, Adu Thero has separated himself as the premier guy for Arkansas. Jonas Adu is getting healthy and getting back into the swing of things. Arkansas was losing at halftime to UT San Antonio.
Yeah.
They came back and won it in the second half, but I mean, come on. I mean, this team's trying. They're finding their way, and they're going to get better, and they are. I think. But they don't have shooters, and it's just an athletic team with a Hall of Fame coach, who I'm thrilled is at Arkansas. I'm not knocking it, but yeah, from what I've seen from a team with what's supposedly this much talent, I'm going to go C. I'm going to give them a solid C. All right, let's talk. Let's talk NFL before we get out of here. Chiefs squeak by again. Has to be the luckiest football team I've ever seen in my life. Um,
Doinking
Field
it off for the win. So
banking one off the goalpost to win the game. My new coworker, who I'm going to work with more than anyone, was at that game. He's a huge Chiefs fan. He was at that game, and he said the place was just like deathly silent because you couldn't tell, like, if you're there unless you're right there watching whether or not the thing went in. And then they
yeah.
saw that it went in, and then the place went nuts. So I thought that was cool that he got to experience that. But he was like, "Yeah, I was about to. I was either going to be happy or cry. I don't know because I drove 8 hours to go watch my favorite team lose. Like that would have been quite the bummer. So I 100% get that. Um, but yeah, Chiefs still one loss team. What are they? 12-1 now.
Yep.
All right, who's the best at this point in the season? Who do you think the best team is in the NFL? Uh, quickly, Josh Allen's got to be the favorite to win MVP right now, right?
Yeah. If you're responsible for 6 touchdowns in a single game,
Never happened before. Never happened
never
before
happened
in
before,
the modern era.
and you still lose the game, that's even wilder. uh,
Okay. Now, did the Bengals beat the Cowboys last night? That was again. I had to go to bed early.
the Cowboys beat the Cowboys last night. I'm sure you've seen highlights of the blocked. I believe it was a blocked punt
I didn't.
that went past the. Okay, so the Cowboys block a punt like late in the fourth quarter when the game was still tied. Blocked it. The ball ends up going past the line of scrimmage, and some dumbass player for the Cowboys thinks that he can grab it and return it. Well, he grabs it, muffs it, and the Bengals recover it, so they still have the ball. And then I think 3 or 4 plays later is whenever they did the 40-yard pass to Jamar Chase for the win.
That's very Dallas Cowboys football,
Yeah,
though.
very Dallas Cowboys football.
Um, the bit I saw, I mean, like Cooper Rush looked like a backup quarterback. Um, I don't know. Joe Burrow has had a really, really good year statistically, but just not the team hasn't had success. That's I was thinking as I was watching. I was like, this has to be the best 4-8 team of all time. Um, maybe not, but I don't know. Like they've Burrow has had like statistically an incredible year, and the team's 4-8. But I mean, it's going back to Josh Allen putting up that kind of performance and losing, just because your defense couldn't stop the Rams. The Rams are getting healthy,
Yeah.
so that's been the difference there. I mean, the Rams are a really good team if they're healthy, but they've been beaten up ever since the after week one. But they're starting to get healthy again. Um, yeah, right now I don't see how you could say Josh Allen is not the favorite to win MVP. I don't see the Bills defense is suspect at times, but then again, I mean, I don't know. That's the Rams and Matthew Stafford, a future Hall of Fame
Yeah.
quarterback, Super Bowl winning quarterback. I'm not going to hold it against them too much, but I don't know. It's to as Ric Flair had always said, he made a career of it to be the man. You got to beat the man, and only one team has beaten the Chiefs this year. I know they've all been nail biters, and luck has been on the Chiefs' side all season, and that might come back to bite them in the postseason. But
Yeah.
until somebody puts them out, man, it's like Floyd Mayweather. I'm not going to bet against Floyd Mayweather in a boxing match, and I'm not going to bet against Patrick Mahomes in a playoff game. Still going to say the Chiefs. I'm still going to say that. I want to say the Bills, but I'm going to say the Chiefs. I
Well,
mean,
I mean,
the Bills are the one team that beat them. You know,
yeah. As long as you make those money line bets and not against the spread bets, you'd be okay. But
Yeah.
I think they've lost most of their bets against the spread. Chiefs have not covered a lot this season, so if you've bet with the Chiefs, you've probably lost money.
Yeah, well, they've been consistent at least. It's been, I mean, they've all been close games, but the Chiefs keep coming out on the winning side of them. And yeah, the Bills beat them. They're the one team to beat them this year, but until you beat them in the postseason when it matters,
Yeah,
I'm still going Patrick Mahomes and company.
yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelsey and company. Give me those guys all day or every time. All right, let's get out of here on this. Speaking of Josh Allen, I officially got not or eliminated from fantasy football playoff contention this
No.
past week. Yeah, I had to play the number one guy in the league, and I had to win. I had the misfortune of playing against Jerry Judy last week. I was up 30 going into that, and Jerry Judy got 33 points or whatever it was to beat me. So I was in a must win situation this past week, and I got just obliterated. He had Josh Allen and Puka Nakua.
Awesome. He
Yeah,
could have
well,
had
for him.
the Charbonnet, or isn't that his name?
Zach
He,
Charbonnet, that's how I say it.
yeah, he
Uh,
freaking went off. And then
yeah,
of course Burrow and Chase.
but
Yeah.
between Josh Allen and Puka Nakua, they had 93 points between the two of them.
Yeah. The
93 points.
the guy in the smaller league of ours who has the Burrow Chase stack, his score was 35.6 points going into last night game with just those two guys remaining. His final score was 130. Those guys put up 95 points, just those two.
Yeah,
Like, man,
he had the guy I played had 100, ended with 160 something, I believe. Um, I was in the low hundreds. I had Lad McConkey left to play, or as one of them left to play, and of course he didn't play at the last minute, but it made no difference whatsoever. I would have gotten just obliterated either way. So it just it's never a good sign when your number one overall pick doesn't play for the first 8 weeks or whatever it is, and then comes in and plays 3 games and doesn't even put up 20 points, and then is out for the rest of the year. Not hating on Christian McCaffrey, just saying it's a bad omen for your team moving forward at fantasy wise. And yeah, that was the case. But congratulations to the other guy and everybody else that made the playoffs in my league. Are you in your leagues? I assume you are.
yes and yes. I had a first round bye this past week in the big one, and I locked up a playoff spot in the other league. Playoff start after this week.
All right. So congrats to Brad's fantasy teams on making the playoffs. My one team I had got eliminated this past week, but that's all right. There's I don't know, there's plenty of sports to watch and get excited about. But until then, we're gonna have to get out of here. We're out of time, but we'll see y'all next week. Until then, I'm your host, Grandpa. On this screen, that's Bradley Brown.
Yep.
Deuces y'all.
Peace.